What's going on, YouTube? Today we're gonna work on this 2007 Lincoln Town Car. We're gonna change the windshield wiper motor. All right. And on this model, seems to be a problem where the windshield wipers will start, and after a couple of turns, they'll just stop, and they'll be stuck up in the air. So I'm pretty sure it's a faulty motor, and we're gonna just change it out, man. Ain't no fixing it, ain't no tampering with it. We just change it out and get to a new one, you know. First thing first, if you want to, for safety, you can disconnect the battery. If you're scary or if you feel like something gonna happen, just disconnect the battery. I'm not, because nothing gonna happen. But other than that, first thing you want to do is take off your wiper arms and the blade. You got a bolt right here, and that'll help you get it off. For that bolt, you could use a 14 fits pretty good on there. All right, so get your arms off and meet me back right here. Another thing I found easier when working on windshield wiper blades on this particular car, you should have the hood lifted up, because if you got the hood down, these bolts will be tucked down under here. Okay, so first off, lift the hood up, and second, when going to remove these arms, it's a little difficult to lift them up, because you have to lift them up to get them to release from the little tension bolt or bracket, whatever's holding them down here. So you want to get them lifted up in the up position, like here. Just turn your key and get them to stop. When they get to the top, just stop them, you know, just like that. See, I can adjust mine manually because the motor is weak. So get them right there, about to that position where they standing straight up. So that way, when you go to lift this up, you got more space to move them and wiggle them off. Yeah. See, like that. Just give it a little wiggle and take it off. All right, we'll set that right there. Try to remember what side that you're taking these off of and put them back on the exact side that you take them off. All right, so I'm gonna get this passenger one off and I'll be right back. Okay, now that you have both windshield arms or blades removed, next thing you want to do is get this plastic housing off. It's two pieces, you know. You got one piece over here and you got one piece here. You'd have to take off this side in order to get this side up. So start over there, take this one off, then come over here, take this one off. And they got some clips here. If you see these little clips, they just pop right off. You can just take them off, and then you have your weather strip right here. Just lift that up, set that out your way, and put your clips up so you can keep up with them. And then right here, if you look right there, there's some little bolts, little screws right here, little Phillips screws. They're plastic, so be careful with them. Sometimes you can just pop them right out, but if not, there's some screws, Phillips screw. All right, pop that top piece off and meet me back. Okay, once you get all your screws out, it's probably about 4, maybe 5 screws. You should be able to pull that left side panel off, and you recover that. You come down here, that other screw I showed you up there, you remove that. Now, before you take this piece off, just be careful. Don't just yank it and rip it off, because your windshield wiper fluid hose is right here. It's connected to the bottom of here, okay? So when you go to take this off, just be mindful of that. Don't snatch it and pull it, because, you know, then you'll be in here with another repair. So just watch both sides. Be careful when you pop that off. It might be pressed down. Just pull it off. slide it out your way. You don't have to fully disconnect it, just set it over here. And that should give you access to your whole wiper motor mechanisms and actuator and whatever else is in here, everything that you need to see. Okay, so next, in order to get the motor, we have to take this whole assembly out. Okay, and the motor is actually right here. It's at the bottom. This is the main arm that controls the whole situation right here. So we got one bolt right here, we got a second bolt right here, and then we got a third bolt here, and then we have a fourth bolt back here. We have to get all 4 of these bolts out, and then we can lift this whole mechanism out. And if I'm not mistaken, there would be a 5th bolt back here. It's right back there. Okay, it can be a problem to get to, especially if you don't have a working motor right now. If you don't have a working motor, it really don't matter. What you can do is you could definitely, if you have to, just force this to move, you know, like this. Just push it with pressure. If you push it hard, you can get this motor to move and you will recover that bolt. You see it? It's like the more you move it, you can make just some space back there to reach that bolt. Okay, so we're gonna start working on these bolts. Get all your bolts out and meet me back right here. All right. And for some of the guys doing this for the first time who just might want to know, these small bolts here are 10 millimeters. Like this one, it's a 10. The one back here in the back, that's a 10. It's a 10. That's also a 10. You don't believe me? There's a 10 on there, okay? So these are 10s, and you got one 8 millimeter in here, which would be this one in the back. This one is an 8. All right. Yeah, that's definitely an 8. But all the rest of these are 10 millimeters. So find you a 10 and get them all, and we'll meet back. And I just wanted to show y'all this bolt in the back. It could be a little irritating, but it's not impossible to get to it, you know. And there I am on it with the regular 10, a regular socket with a regular 10 on it, no extension, no twist neck, no nothing, just regular extension. I just pushed the motor around enough for me to get this back here, and I can get on it and give it a turn. I might not get the biggest turn, but it's turning, you know. This probably will be the most difficult bolt for you to mess with, is the one back here in the back. Other than that, these ones will come right off with no problem. They're right, all of them are accessible. That might be the only one that might give you a little run, but I just wanted to show you it's not impossible, okay? And this is a full size socket. So take your time, you'll get it. All right. And once you get all of your bolts off, you should be able to lift this whole assembly out, okay? And it shouldn't be hard, it shouldn't be stuck. Just give it a couple little pulls and let it lift out. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna set this up right here. See if I can show you. Okay. And you just grab it from here, from the motor, and then grab it from the back part. Lift it out, and just be careful because you still got your wire harness and connection right here. Okay. We still got that connection in there. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect that now. Just be careful with this. You don't want to the wrong way. Now we got that in there. Got your little clip right here. Push that tab in and release it. Just like this. Push this one down. Give it a little wiggle. It'll pop off. You have a little rubber gasket in there, or a weather strip if that's what you want to call it. gonna sit inside here like this. Alright, get that back in there. And this is your motor. This is the whole motor assembly. Alright, now we're gonna take this over here and we're gonna assemble the new motor in it. Alright. Now, if you're not sure, or you just want to check and make sure that you got the correct motor, what you can do is take this out, and once you get this part out, of course you can match it with the new motor, but if you want, you can connect the terminals, the two connectors, and just turn it on and see the motor moving. And I think we're gonna do that just to show y'all. I'm gonna get this opened up and I'll be right back. Okay, first look, and it looks the same. Everything's the same direction, the same orientation. Come around here, look at your plugs, and for the most part they look the same. This one has a white plastic insert, but other than that they have the same pins and the same location. All right, looks good to me. One more test we can do. We can just walk around here, and we'll take that connector right here and we will plug it into this motor just like this. Just make sure it plugs in, and boom, it clicked all the way in. Next test, all you do is turn on your windshield wiper switch. You want to see this motor here turning back and forth, turning back and forth. That just tell you, you know, you got a good motor and it works. Some people like to test it before they go through all the hassle of putting it all the way in, and something might be wrong with it. So we're just gonna give it a little test real quick. And all you gotta do is turn your windshield wiper motor on, and you will see that little motor start spinning. You see that? It's working. That's good enough for me. Alright, with that being seen, we can continue our process of installing. Okay, I'll meet you back over on our workbench. Okay, now, to remove this motor, we got these 3 bolts right here. 1, 2, and 3. And then you will need to take off this arm right here, this little connector to the arm. So you got these 3 10mm, then you have this 1 8mm. So take these 3 off, and to be honest, we're going to take this one off first while the motor is still being held in support. We're going to take off this little bolt first, and then we'll take off these 3. Let's do it in that order. Alright, so get you an 8, take that one off first. After you get that one off, take off these 3 and meet me back. Alright, and once you get all 3, 4 screws out, the assembly should just lift up away from the motor. Okay, we'll chuck that. We're gonna get our new motor, and remember the way that it was in there. All right. And another thing, let's just take this. It's a little, like a little rubber boot here. We're gonna take that just cause it was on here, so we're gonna put it back on. Okay. Take the good screw out. We're gonna put this piece over here. All right, and then we're gonna fasten this on down. Okay, like that. Put your 3 screws back in there. Tighten it down, and we'll meet back. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, and after you get all 3 screws back in and fastened down, We'll take the fourth one that goes here in the middle, and you take this little arm and you just position it right back on here the best way you can, best orientation that lines up with this bolt. Okay, so mine is going to be like this. And just mess with it until you get it. Sometimes you might have to spin it around, try it a different way. And yeah, that fit better. If you ask me, that fits better in there, that way. Now we're gonna spin this arm a little bit and get that bolt back in there. Alright. Alright, and after y'all get all the 3 screws put back in, we're back to the car with it. The next step from here, what I'm gonna do, you don't have to, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean out this little gutter here first and get all this trash and debris and leaves and junk out of there, so that once I put this new one down in there, none of that stuff gets clogged up all around these arms, and they try to slow it down and prevent it from moving, and that sometimes is, you know, what burns out your motor or just makes your motor a little tired and wore out because of all this other excess stuff in here. So I'm gonna clean mine out. After I do that, then I'm gonna put this whole assembly back down in there, and then we're gonna start putting it back together just like we took it apart. All right, so now that we got that back in place, we're just gonna bolt it back down. I don't have any torque specifications or anything like that. I just know that I shouldn't put it too damn tight, you know. Other than that, we're gonna put all the bolts back in there, and we're gonna put everything back together in the reverse order like we took it off, and then we'll give it a test at the end. I'll meet you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, once you get everything put back together, minus the windshield wiper arms, you're about 98% done. All right, so for this next part, which will be installing the wiper blades back on, you want to let the hood back down so you can get access from this top part. Okay, so we're gonna let this hood down. Check, make sure you got nothing in the way. Everything is got solid. Okay. I'm gonna let this down just a bit. You don't gotta close it all the way. Right there, it's good. Okay. And we're gonna reinstall our wiper arms. Now, I kept mine separated so I know which one goes on what side. Try to remember when you install your motor, as long as you have your wiper switch turned off, then the blade should return to the home position, like to the rest position. So you want to install your arms in the rest position, as down, all the way down. Before you tighten up the bolt, make sure you got them facing all the way down. Okay, so get your arms back in there like this. One from the top. Once you get it on there, let it sit, and that's when you can let this down. Okay, let that down, drop to the lowest position right there. Okay, you got it on. All right, we're gonna go do the other side. Same way, just set it down on here like this. Once you get it on, you can just let it rest down and lay your blade down. Okay, just like that. I'll put it about right here where I see there's an old line. That's probably where it used to sit at, so I'm gonna sit it back about right there. Okay. Then we go back and we're gonna lift the hood up. And then where we're gonna tighten them back down. All right. Now, like I said, I don't have the exact torque specs. If you need them, you can find them online, I'm pretty sure, just like you might have found this video. What I'm gonna do is just get them to a nice hand tightened spec to where I feel comfortable with it, and I know it's not gonna break it, or it's not gonna come back off on its own. Okay, so after you do that, you'll be good to test them out and see what you got. And just like that, after you put everything back together, test it out, you can adjust them if you want them to go further, or if they're going too far or not going further enough, you can adjust the bolts and get them back to how they need to be. All right.